Hello, 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 and welcome to the second episode of our podcast. Today, me and Jackson have a very good conversation coming up about the playoffs yet again, a little bit about how our predictions either went right or went wrong here, and how unpredictable the West is going to be. But let's start off. The Kings have made the playoffs.
Since 06 when they had Mike Bibby, Peja. I was one years old.
Yeah, we were way too young to be watching the Kings then. So
I've seen so many highlights of those players, but I never got to watch them in person or on the TV. But I mean, as an NBA fan, you gotta love it. You gotta love seeing them make it. As a fan of the Pacers, we love DeMontis. So it's good for him.
Definitely out of all the teams, the Kings are the team that probably people know the least history about, I'd say.
Yeah.
They've been so bad for so long.
Also, they jumped up so high from last year.
Oh, yeah. No, it's crazy. I felt like they were emerging for a long time. Like, when they got Sabonis, I was like, okay, they got Fox and Sabonis. They should be good. But last year, it wasn't great. But
They were just so guard heavy. I think it was just such a great trade for both teams, the Pacers and the Kings, just to ship away Tyrese and DeMontis, and obviously it worked for both teams. I mean, not really for the Pacers. Like we're tanking, but we have such a good piece now.
Oh yeah,
it's looking good for the Kings. I really like them, but I hope they can do stuff in the playoffs. So
I do too. Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, speaking of the playoffs, we have 3 more teams that have clinched since the last time we all spoke here. First team is Memphis, so let's talk a little bit about them. Coming off a loss last night to the Clippers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a big game, fun game. We saw a lot of scuffles this last week. The Warriors, they've had a lot of scuffles in the past. Against the Clippers last night, it was obviously a lot of fun to see Russell drop 36. No Kawhi or Paul. We saw MVP Russ for the first time in a long time.
Him and Dylan Brooks were going at it too.
Yeah,
I mean, Dylan Brooks blocked his shot. Russell Westbrook blocked Dylan Brooks' shot. So
yeah, they were chirping.
Oh yeah. So moving on to our next team, we got the Cavaliers. A very solid team. They've been solid all year. They're very young though, so we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I really like the Cavs, but I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're good enough to make a really big run in the playoffs, especially if they play against like the top 3 seeds. Top 3 seeds in the East are very well rounded. A lot of experience there. But I think that the Cavs have a lot of experience, or a lot of potential, I should say, for the next coming years. If they make a good play in the off season for like a wing or anything, I think they have a really good chance of just getting better in general.
For sure, yeah. So. I mean, guys like Evan Mobley, Darius Garland. I mean, even oh my gosh, why am I? Jared Allen. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I'm blanking there, but those are guys that have never even really been in the playoffs, so it's going to be really fun to watch them. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell, amazing in the playoffs, great player. He's going to do great work for them, and I'm confident in Darius Garland as well as even Evan Mobley.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine, but I think it'll be tough matchups for them, especially if they play the Knicks the first round. I think that's probably one of the better series.
Oh yeah,
that could happen.
Probably the best, honestly.
Yeah.
And then we got great defensive matchup there, so it'll be fun to watch. Some really good games. Maybe the old style of basketball a little bit in that aspect, but now our final contender here, well, not necessarily contender, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but 76ers have now clinched the playoffs. Not a shocker. Great team here.
What a surprise. They've been in the playoffs for so many years in a row. I feel like they've been in since like maybe 16, 17.
Oh yeah. Ever since they had that like 9 and 73 season.
Ever since they got Joel, they've been there. They're a really good team. I just feel like the 76ers have a really good chance at making a big run. I really like them. I just hope that they can play to their abilities. They have so many good pieces. They have a top 3 core of James, Joel, and Tyrese that are it's just it's unfair. Honestly.
Oh, really? Yeah, they're so good. They're unbelievable. So good that we actually have a conversation here. Do we think that the 76ers can be champions?
Well, I think they can be. I think they're on paper they're a championship team, but I've never seen them there. I've never seen them, make a real big run other than when they played Toronto, and what that led to, and Kawhi hitting that game winner in Game 7. I think they are capable of making it to the championship level, but I don't think they can. I think there's a lot of competition in the East. I feel like the Bucks are really hard to beat right now. The Bucks are playing really well. So are the 76ers, but they got Giannis.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to get, if that's a matchup, it's going to be really good. It's good.
I think 76ers will have an extremely difficult path, obviously. They're going to have to get through teams like the Celtics, teams like the Bucks. Giannis in the playoffs is impossible to stop.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to weather that storm. It's probably going to have to be matched with great games by Embiid every game. So, they're going to have to bank on him not getting hurt for any of the games, being healthy the whole time. Tyrese Maxey, he's stepped into a new role this year. So maybe stepping into that role in the playoffs could be different for him, and that's important for their team's success right now because James isn't in as much of a scoring position. But I think they could be contenders. They're scary. They're interesting to watch. But another playoff contender here, the Bucks. How do we feel about the Bucks?
Well, if me and Jack obviously watched the game last night against the Pacers, and we all know what happened. Drew Holiday and Giannis combined for 89 points.
Drew Holiday 51.
Yeah,
that's insane.
The fact that they almost combined for 100 points is just sad. 51 points for Drew Holiday is just saying something. He's playing good. We all know what he's capable of. He's a defensive guard that is just all around good. He's a great point guard who can, play make. Giannis, we all know what he can do. He had I would say the quietest first half I've ever seen. He had almost a triple-double. He was just one assist short, I think, in the first half.
It's unbelievable. I think he had 20 points in the first half, and that's like looking at the box score. It's just normal for him.
Yep.
But like the Bucks surrounding cast is also so good as well.
Yeah.
They beat the Pacers. It was a closer game than you would expect.
149-136.
Yeah, for them combining for 89 points. That's points. But guys like Brook Lopez have been great this year.
Yeah.
And probably the defensive player of the year, honestly.
Honestly, I could see that. I could see that, especially since they're the 1 seed. And they didn't even have Chris Middleton play last night.
Yeah,
he was out.
They didn't even need him. They were clowning the Pacers on the bench.
149 points without an all-star Chris Middleton is pretty crazy.
Did you see that? The video of them all on the bench clowning the Pacers.
They were sitting like this, sitting pretty. Sitting pretty.
Yeah,
let's talk about the Celtics now. They're very. We know what they're capable of. They were in the championship last year against the Warriors. Unfortunately, they did not win.
Yeah.
What do you think they could do?
I think they're the same team, essentially, with Malcolm Brogdon coming off the bench. Malcolm Brogdon has been a great addition. He's in the running for 6th Man of the Year, and there's a very good reason for that. He's a great player. I don't know if they have enough to get over the hump, though. Like, I don't even see them necessarily making it to the championship with the Sixers and the Bucks, but they're in the running, and I think they're going to give whoever plays them in the playoffs a very tough run. They're great on both sides of the ball. So
yeah, I like the Celtics, but I think the other teams around them have gotten better and they've stayed the same, which leads me to think that I don't think they will be able to make it to the championship this year. I feel like they were a good team last year. They didn't really make any changes over the offseason or through the trade deadline. And I don't think it will really help them that much. I think they should have made some moves. I think Celtics fans will agree with that. But I mean, if Jason Tatum can keep playing at MVP level, 30 points per game, and Jaylen Brown just being Jaylen Brown, I think they have a good chance, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Another team. Let's switch over to the West now.
Yeah.
We have a couple teams who are contenders in our beliefs. Let's start with the Suns. What do you think?
I think the Suns, now that they have KD back, are obviously going to be the front runners. I mean, KD can drop 30 anytime. He probably would have been averaging 30 if he's been playing normal minutes, normal everything for the Suns. He's only played about 4 games. He's averaging 24 points a game on limited minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But him and D-Book has been out of his mind lately. They're an insane duo with guys like Chris Paul and Aiden as well. They're great. They're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, Devin Booker in the last 10 games has been looking like a absolute MVP caliber player. 30 points per game, 4 and 4. You just gotta love that. Without Kevin Durant in the last 10, he's putting up those numbers. Even with Kevin Durant, he was playing really well. We know that they can work together. From the first couple games that they played together, they won. So exactly. I mean, that's a good thing to see. Obviously, Kevin Durant came back last night in his first game at Phoenix. He dropped 16, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists on pretty bad shooting, but still putting up 16 points is pretty good. And Devin Booker, I think, dropped 29 or something. I mean, it's very hard to stop when you have 2 elite scorers on your team.
I mean, it's like they're even getting wins with KD on an off night, so it's gonna be tough to beat. But someone they might meet, the Warriors in the playoffs here. It's pretty much between them and the Clippers right now for that 5 seed. So crazy first round matchup. Do we think the Warriors are contenders?
I think with the West right now, it's just so up in the air. We have to really see what they're playing like in the first round to really see if they are contenders. I think the Warriors, coming into the season, were probably the favorites again just because they won. But I feel like this season has been one of the most unpredictable seasons you could guess. I feel like nobody really had a favorite.
Yeah.
The Warriors, I mean, they had Steph Curry out for a good amount of time.
26 games, I think. Like
but yeah, I think the Warriors are good, but I'd like to see them back there. You know, I know you're a big Steph Curry fan. I think everybody's a Steph Curry fan at this point. They got a lot of good pieces around them. Very guard heavy, but I mean, it works.
Yeah, so. I definitely think their rebounding is going to come into play in the playoffs. They're not great at rebounding.
Yeah.
They go sometimes with Draymond at the 5, so a lengthy big man in the playoffs could be a big problem for them. As well as their 9-29 road record. That's going to be a huge issue, especially as a possible 6 seed where they're never going to have the advantage game-wise. Like, it's going to come into play big time. But the Warriors are a great team, and they could be dangerous, so we'll have to watch.
They're a great team at home, too. 31-8 at home is very, very scary to play against. If it's the Clippers, if it's the Suns, they got to be locked in when they're in Golden State. So
yeah, and another team, the Nuggets. You're not super high on the Nuggets at the moment. I am unsure as well, but we can have a nice conversation here.
I think what I'm about to say will definitely turn some heads. I mean, the Nuggets are a great team. We all know that. They're the 1 seed for a reason. But the real question is can Jokic lead a team to the championship? And I think no. I just feel like in today's era, you have to be playing at a different pace. I mean, yeah, he plays at a different pace, but it's not fast. He can play make, he can rebound, he can get points up, but I just don't see him making plays on the defensive side, stopping guys like, Joel Embiid, per se, or like Giannis in the championship if that was a matchup for him. But we all know Jamal Murray can play really well in the playoffs. Dropping 50 in the bubble against Donovan Mitchell was a sight to see. We need to see Michael Porter playing really well. We know he can play good, but he's also inconsistent, so we never know if he's going to play good or not. I just don't think that this Nuggets team is all there. I think they've always been that, like, sway team. They're kind of like up in the air, and they're a tough matchup, but I think they can't make it past a team like the Warriors or the Suns. What do you think?
I personally, I disagree with Jokic not being a winner, just because I'd say the Nuggets are the 1 seed, and they made a deep playoff run the other year. Obviously, when they were in the bubble, they got to the conference finals, I believe. Right? They beat the Jazz in the first round, the Clippers in the second. Yeah. And then their X factor was Jamal Murray, but I think Jokic makes his teammates better, and in the playoffs, anybody that makes his teammates better could and will go on a run at times. Jamal Murray is going to be the X factor, like you mentioned. He's great in the playoffs. Jokic is going to get double teamed. The focus is going to be on Jokic at all times, especially with some of the best defensive teams there. They're going to look to him obviously first, but we know Jokic can pass the ball, and his ability to pass the ball and his teammates to hit shots is going to be the difference if the Nuggets are a second round exit or championship contender. So
I agree with that. But I stand by what I said. Everybody can think different of me, but let's talk about that last team that we think is a definite contender. It just matters if they're healthy or not, and that's the Clippers.
The Clippers are a scary team. On paper, probably one of the scariest in the entire league. They have a former MVP, former NBA champion, and Paul George, of course. When he's healthy. We don't know necessarily when he's coming back yet. I believe they said 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah,
something
two
around
to 3
that.
weeks to get reevaluated. Yeah.
So Paul George is questionable, but Russell Westbrook last night, 36 points when they needed him most. Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing. He stepped up. Hopefully he can do the same thing in the playoffs. I'm not sure. As a third option, he probably won't be able to do numbers like that, obviously. But Kawhi Leonard can take a team on a run. We've seen it before. Paul George he's been great in the past in the playoffs. He's been bad in the past in the playoffs. We'll have to see what version of Paul George comes out. And yeah.
I saw something very eye-popping to me about Russell Westbrook. I was about to say Russell Wilson, but he's not a basketball player. Russell Westbrook has come into this team very, very different. He was told by the head coach, Tyronn Lue, to basically crash the boards every time there's a shot up. That's literally his main goal, and he was told that. And Russell Westbrook, we know, can crash the boards. He's got athleticism out the roof. It's just if he can board and play make at the high level, we know he can produce that. It's gonna be scary whoever they play. So yeah.
With how Westbrook's been playing right now, I actually have a question for you. Do you think the Lakers were wrong in the way that they use Westbrook?
I think the Clippers and the Lakers are pretty similar. They have 2 really good stars. But having someone like Russell on Kawhi and Paul George's team is way different than LeBron and AD. AD's a big, and LeBron's every position. So I think it was just not the right fit. I don't think they really used him wrong, but I think it was just I don't think it was a right fit. But I think it's a good fit for the Clippers, for sure.
Yeah, I think the Clippers fit Russell Westbrook a lot better, obviously, because the spacing. the Lakers kind of set Westbrook up for failure in a way that they didn't have anybody around him to shoot the ball. So he was essentially forced to shoot three-pointers, which is not Russell Westbrook's strength. Obviously, he can do it at times. We've seen him make some shots, but he had to do things that didn't fit his play style, his ways, and that's why I think the Lakers. I think they did Russell Westbrook wrong, like in a lot of ways, and they treated him unfairly, along with the fan base. Honestly,
I think Russell Westbrook is a type of player that you either use him right or you just use him wrong, and I think you're right, and the Lakers really used him wrong. And that's why he's playing better in LA on the Clippers. So yeah.
All right. So last week we made some predictions. Some of them were right. A lot were wrong.
Yeah.
So we'd like to talk about some of the things we talked about last week that are not true and what are true. So
I'd like to start off with the Clippers one, where you said the Clippers would be the 10th seed.
Yeah.
And what'd you say, 41 and 41?
Yeah, I had a 4-way tie for 41 and 41, so it was kind of, I didn't necessarily know who had the tiebreaker, but I was basing it off of the standings at the moment, so I thought they would be the last one of the tiebreaker, but they could, and they could have gone all the way up to the 6th seed, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
They're up there.
Well, they took a big win last night against the Grizzlies, so that was definitely much needed for them. We could talk about the Knicks and them winning, and I thought the Nets would move up to the 4th seed, or I mean the 5th seed, 5 seed, and the Knicks being the 6th seed, but the Nets are losing, Knicks are winning, so it's looking like I'm pretty wrong on that one. I think it'll probably stay the same in all the East. It's looking pretty comfortable for the top 6 for them. Maybe the Nets drop down. Maybe they don't. They're only, I think, 1.5 games ahead of the Heat.
Yeah, the Heat have been struggling though. That's something to look at as well.
The Hawks and the Raptors are even, I think, right now.
Hawks are literally the most average team in the NBA. They've been one game above or under 500 for I think
for the last
26.
Last 26 games they've been win loss.
It's been insane.
The Thunder, what'd you say about it?
The Thunder, I had them as my 10 seed, I think, or no, I had them. Let me make sure. Yeah, I think they were my 10 seed. And
it was the Clippers.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. No, Lakers were my 9. Thunder was my 8.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was. Yeah. So that one, it's not looking horrible. Thunder are the 10 seed right now, right? And I don't know that. It's looking like they'll probably stay there though.
Yeah. We both like the Thunder. We saw a really impressive win last night. Jalen Williams still playing great without Shea. He had that putback layup to put them ahead against Detroit. I'd love to see them make past the play-in, but we'll see.
I don't know if they necessarily can because they're so young. They haven't been there, but they're a really fun team to watch.
Yeah.
And I would love to watch them in a whole series. That would be really great. Yeah. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure necessarily if they're ready yet. But yeah. My Pelicans one was wrong. I had Pelicans as my 12 seed. They are now the 9 seed. They're playing great, honestly. They should have beaten the Warriors the other night as well. They were up about 20 points at one point and blew it.
Yeah, well, that's the Pelicans for you. I mean, the Pelicans are playing pretty good right now, but they were the 12th seed last week, and now they're the 9th. It just shows how tight of a race it is right now. It's only a 5.5 game differential for the 4th seed to the 12th seed right now.
Oh yeah.
As we said last week, it was I think 3 or 3.5.
Yeah. I think it was,
which is crazy. So yeah.
And then the last team that I was wrong about, I essentially just switched the Mavs and the Clippers. I had the Mavs jumping up to the 6th seed. I was wrong. They might not make the playoffs. They might make it as the 10th seed. I'm not sure, but it's not looking great, honestly.
Yeah, they're 11th right now, right?
Yeah, they're 11th. Jazz is 12th. I don't think the Jazz can make it anymore. I don't really think they're trying to necessarily.
Yeah, if I was the Jazz, I would just stay put. Obviously, the Lakers shot up to 8th, right?
Yes, they did. Yeah.
But yeah, the Mavs are in a tough spot. I mean, if they make it into that 10th seed, you gotta watch out.
Yeah,
you gotta watch out.
Mavs digging I think if they dig themselves out of that play-in tournament and they make the playoffs, the Nuggets will be. I mean, they'll be in tough shape.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a series actually because Kyrie and Luka in the playoffs.
Yeah, whoever plays them, good luck.
Yeah. Seriously. But I know we said the Pels are playing well. So we want to move into a new segment here. We got one word to describe all these teams, and we want to start with the Pelicans.
Yeah. Okay. So just so you know, me and Jack have not discussed any of our words. We don't know what we said.
No clue.
So for the Pelicans, I said depth.
Depth. Okay. And I'm guessing it's because you think they need bench players. Yeah, they need other options.
I think they don't have enough options, but I think they have a lot of good role players that can help them.
Mm-hmm.
They have Jose, they have Jackson Hayes. I mean, CJ McCollum's pretty good. I mean, he's an all-star caliber player. Brandon Ingram's playing good. He's all-star caliber player. If Zion plays, we'll never know.
Yeah, he's been injured way too much.
They have enough depth to help them. We'll just see how the rest of the season goes. So, what'd you say?
I said confused because I think the Pelicans are in a spot right now where they are the 9 seed, but they have the talent to be about the 4 seed with Zion. They could be up there, and I think they don't know if they should tank, if they should trade people, if they should move on, if Zion is their guy or not because of how hurt he's been the whole time he's been in the league. They're confused. They don't know what they are. And I think it's going to be important for them in the next couple months because McCollum's window's kind of closing. He's getting older. Ingram is still pretty young. Zion is still young despite, I think this is his 4th year, right?
Zion?
Yeah. This is his 4th year, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, and he's been out for just about half of his time in the league. So they're confused and they need to figure out what their identity is and who they are. So
the next team is the Blazers. And I said hostage. I think Damian Lillard needs to get his butt out of there. He is way too good to be putting up 70 on a team that doesn't know how to build around him. Yes, they have Anthony Simons. He's a really good young player, but he's not good enough to help Damian Lillard, and especially just win. They have Jeremy Grant. He's not good enough to help him win. Nurkic, decent big, but not good enough to help him win. Damian Lillard is just way too good to be on a team like the Portland Trail Blazers and expect to do. They're just not going to do anything. If I was Damian Lillard, I'm requesting a trade. I'm going somewhere else. But yeah.
I actually have a question. Did you see a bunch of Knicks fans are saying that Lillard, they're going to get Lillard?
I did not see that.
I've been seeing stuff about the Knicks getting Damian Lillard, and I just don't know where anybody got that from.
That would be interesting. I just feel like if Damian went to the Knicks, I feel like it would be the same situation. I don't think Julius Randle is that much help.
Doesn't make any sense because Jalen Brunson, they just got him, and he's there and he's having a great season for them. So I think this is another case of Knicks fans just being delusional, kind of like Kevin Durant with Zion and everything when they're making their big trios that just are never going to happen.
Yeah. Well, if that ever will happen, that's definitely going to be something very, very interesting. All right, next team, Jazz.
I didn't say my word for the Blazers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
My word was tanking.
Oh.
because they're 1-9 in their last 10 games. So I think the Blazers have given up trying to make the playoffs. But yeah, that's
Okay, so next team, Jazz.
the Jazz. I said they're surprised. I think the Jazz didn't know how good they were actually even going to be this year. They thought they were going to be really bad. And Lauri Markkanen, the absolute, the overseas goat right here.
Yeah.
My 7-foot Jesus right here.
Yeah, I really like Lauri. I wasn't expecting his breakout at all.
I wasn't either.
So what I said for the Jazz is kind of like recent, because I thought they were going to be a playoff team, by the way they were playing. So I said disappointing. Obviously, they played really well this season for what we thought they would, but I was disappointed in how they're closing this out. I kind of wish they made the playoffs, but
yeah, I did too, honestly.
It's whatever. So next team we chose was the Lakers, and my word is scary.
Scary. Yeah, I had sleepers, so they're very similar.
I think with the Lakers being the 8th seed, or they could be the 7th seed, that is just, it's very, very scary. To be playing LeBron James at the 8th seed is,
yeah, no,
I can't say scary anymore, but it'd be scary.
It would be horrible. I mean, even as an 8 seed, they're sleepers to do damage in the playoffs, so that's why I said sleepers.
Yeah,
so.
they could definitely give teams like Memphis or Nuggets a run for their money. You said sleeper?
Yeah. And then we also had the Wizards. My word for the Wizards was disappointing, because I looked at the Wizards roster and I see Bradley Beal, Kristaps Porzingis, and even Kyle Kuzma all had, they didn't have bad years. They all played pretty well, but they just aren't very good, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
I said surprising. I think they played well for, the talent that they have. I think Kristaps showed what he was playing like in New York. I think that he came back to what he should be playing like. Mm-hmm. He's playing great. Kyle Kuzma finally is playing good. Mm-hmm. He didn't play good in LA for the most part. So I'm glad to see him playing good. But yeah, I could see why you think that they're disappointing. They're a good team on paper, but yeah. So the next one is the 76ers, and I said hopeful.
Hopeful, okay.
I really like the 76ers, and I'm very hopeful for them, and I hope that they make a run for their money.
Okay, yeah. Mine was very similar. I said contenders, because I think the 76ers could be contenders, and I think they're a great team, and I think they're going to shock a lot of people.
Yeah, so I agree. All right, so the next team, the Kings. What do you think?
The Kings, I said unpredictable. Because
I said something very close to that. I said impressive. Mm-hmm. I think nobody was expecting them to be the 3rd seed. Going on from what we were saying a couple minutes ago, it's just been an unpredictable season, not knowing where teams would land, and this is one of them. The Kings at 3rd seed is just what?
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So next one, Cavs. What do you think?
I said the Cavs are young.
That's literally what I put.
Yeah,
I said young.
Super young, so we don't know what they're going to look like going in the playoffs because they've never been there.
Yeah, I like the Cavs, but just too young.
Oh, yeah.
I think they can win the first series, but just too young. They don't have experience. Next one, Hawks.
I said mid. That's the only word to describe the Hawks.
What did I say? Oh, I said inconsistent.
Inconsistent.
I think that whole team is just a big, just no for me. John Collins, super inconsistent. They paid $25 million a year just for him to drop 10 points and 4 boards a game is just terrible. Honestly, I'm just trading him right away. You said what?
I said mid.
Yeah,
because they're obviously have been at 500 or one game above or below for however many games you said, 26 games.
Yeah.
They are just mid. Probably the absolute definition of it. It's just mid.
Well, off that fact you said earlier, them being 500 every. They've just been winning, loss, win.
Yeah,
loss, win. They're just super big.
It's crazy.
But
yeah, that wraps up our new segment today. And that's going to finish up the episode here. So that's episode 2. Thank you guys for watching. Go follow us on TikTok, J_and_J_pod, and follow or subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Thank you again. This is Jackson and Jack.